What it do, fam? I don't know why we always say that. What it do, fam? I guess it's just the way to do it. How y'all doing? Let me share this a little bit. Happy Holy Day to the Muslims who practice that. I know I do. I know I do. I don't know about nobody else, but I know I do. Peace and love, family. Got a few bars to drop on you today. Just a few bars. You know what I mean? Anyway, just got a few bars to drop on you today. We're talking about the reset of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The reset. What's up, Marty Bay? The reset of the Moorish Science Temple of America. What is that, family? Well, anybody that ever been in business before, anybody that's ever endeavored to do something, and may feel as though like, hold up, it seems like I'm not advancing, I'm not moving, I'm not reaching my goals. Whenever that happens, any intelligent person would say, you know what? Let me go back to the drawing board and see what I missed and put things back in its proper perspective. Let me go back and examine what the original blueprint looked like, because there's a possibility that we missed something. Example, say for instance that you inherit a company from your family, a family business. And while the family is running the business, the founders are running the business, it's super successful. I mean, you got all the luxuries, you got all the entrapments of the world. You know what I mean? You want for nothing. Everybody working hard, but everybody eating, everything's going well. Then the family that founded the business transitioned, the family that founded the business get older and, they kind of fall back. But now it appears that the business is dwindling. The business now, as we like to say, is falling off. It would be an intelligent thing to do to say, hold up, what am I missing? Hold up, where I'm going wrong, what I'm doing wrong, because when my daddy and them had it, man, we was doing good. But now it's been passed down, something is missing. So this is where we at with the Moorish Science Temple of America as an ideal. I want to answer a few questions where people reached out to me about in the last few days. A brother reached out to me and asked me, where is the legitimate Moorish Science Temple of America? Family, I'm going to tell you right now, the only legitimate Moorish Science Temple of America will be the one that you help create. Now that might take a second to register. The only legitimate Moorish Science Temple of America is the one that you help to create. And it can only be created by the blueprint of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. If you don't know the Prophet Noble Drew Ali from an administrative perspective, there's no way that you can recreate it. In other words, when the prophet say, imitate I the prophet, that means to look at what the prophet demonstrated and you demonstrated. So when I say recreate, I'm not saying something new. I'm saying made in the image after. You know what I mean? Made in the image after. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali makes a statement. I bought you everything you need to save a nation. Now take it and save yourself. That means you must build it. You must build it. We have been tricked and fooled to believe that someone had carried on the legacy that was built by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. That is a flat out lie. In the resetting of the Moorish Science Temple of America on April the 27th in Detroit, I'm going to be showing how the Moorish Science Temple of America posed to look and who removed or pulled the carpet from under us, so we don't know how it's supposed to look. So let me get in one of the questions a brother asked me. A brother asked me, is the Moorish Science Temple of America democratic in principle? And what he's saying is, before you get caught up in the term democratic, does everybody has a say-so? And I'm telling you, yes, it does. The way that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali set up the organization, there is a democratic process. And that just means everybody have a voice. You know what I'm saying? That means everybody have a voice. That doesn't mean like you looking at the Democrats of today. So you have the grand body, right? You have the Grand Sheikh and the chairman. The Grand Sheikh and the chairman is only the voice of the people. Islam, more. You see what I'm doing, more? I told you we on the block soon, brother. All right, Islam. How your wife doing? All right, tell her I asked about it. I don't be saying it that much, so I got to go through you. We our brother's keeper. Islam? Islam. Let me get back to my lesson. So, the Grand Sheikh and chairman is only the voice of the people. The Grand Sheikh and chairman is not a dictator. The Grand Sheikh and chairman is not the one that say, go and you run. When the Grand Sheikh say, go and you run, it's because you know that is for the benefit of the whole. Not for one, but for the whole. Now, so Act 1 said, the Grand Sheikh and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet. Now, we don't believe in no spook. So for the sake of this conversation, the assistance of the Prophet is the Prophet's law. The only law that you should be comparing to how you move is the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaw, and the Questionnaire. These are the documents where Prophet Noble Drew Ali says to us, he says to us, to be a good Moorish leader, you must study the Holy Quran, the Divine Constitution and Bylaw, and the Questionnaire as handed down to you by I, the Prophet. Those are the 3 documents. You can get the Moorish Guide. You can get all of these other stuff. All of this old people be trying to use oral statements. You can get all that other stuff you want. But the measuring stick is what the Prophet says. Is what the Prophet said. So at the end of the day, if you don't have a working knowledge of the Holy Quran, the Questionnaire, and the Divine Constitution and Bylaws, there's no way that you can execute Moorish science. He didn't say no rules and regulations. He didn't say any of that. Moorish science. So when we're talking about the resetting of the Moorish Science Temple of America, we're talking about going back to the foundation in which the Prophet Noble Drew Ali gave us and implementing it on the ground, because that was the only thing, and it will be the only thing that worked for us as a people who calling ourselves Moorish Americans. That's it. Number 2, when people are claiming that they are the only and sole ownership of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and that's what you're looking for, you may as well go and look for a cult. Because anybody that claims sole ownership of a holy and divine movement and claim exclusivity over that which comes from God, they're insane. They're insane. The whole thing in a nutshell is the only one that will be seen as the Moorish Science Temple of America is the ones that put the Prophet out front. He said the power is in the name Prophet. Do all your business in the name of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Do all your business in the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America. You got to do your business in the name of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and Moorish Science Temple of America. That's the only way you're going to be recognized. So the noble temples, hence the term noble, which is, just a play on the Noble Drew Ali. Noble temples, as we affectionately call ourselves, We strive to look at what the prophet demonstrated and demonstrate it to the letter and bring people on who are willing to do the same thing. So anybody that does that act like they got the end all be all for the Moorish Science Temple of America, just go and join a cult. Go and join a cult. Most people don't even, unfortunately, as long as we've been around, most people don't even understand how nationality works. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, I'm going to bring my brother Dukes Bay in a minute, but for example, I was explaining this on the other video, right? And what I bring to the table, it may sound a little bit different because many of the old Moors didn't teach us this. But everybody that joins the Moorish Science Temple of America nationality is not Moorish American. Let's be clear. So on the internet today, it's a guy named Cujo from Canada. Cujo actually thinks that he's a Moorish American. He actually thinks he's a Moorish American. He's a Moor, but he's in Canada. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm trying to explain to him that just because you're in North America, don't make you a Moorish American, because North America is a continent. In that sense, he should just be African North American. But we know that nationality is not derived from a continent. It's derived from a country, a nation. You understand? So he's unruly and everything, but he's thinking that if he have a charter that says Moorish Science Temple of America, that he's officially a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, but it's the Moorish Science Temple of America. See, I'm going to be explaining this in the lecture on April the 27th. When the Inc. and Kirkman Bay now removed all the literature and said that the literature should only have the Moorish Science Temple of America, it pulled the rug from under people. In fact, our brothers and Asiatics and Moors in Canada, they should be Moorish Canadian, and they should be flying a charter that says the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. You follow what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, you good. But so they should be flying a charter that says the Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the world, not a charter from the Moorish Science Temple of America. Because think about it. Why would you be in Canada saying that you're in America, of America? It don't make sense. It don't make sense. It's a legal and lawful organization. It doesn't make sense. I mean, how are you going to be in North Africa, in Ghana, talking about all means of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America? No, you should have a Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. The information in it is the same, but it's not of America at that point. You understand what I'm saying? So even when you see Crumbly Bay, even when Prophet Noble Ali has transitioned, on his temple, the sign still says Moorish Holy Temple of Science, because there's a different variable than the Moorish Holy Temple of Science and the Moorish Science Temple of America. The prophet said we have charters to be issued to every state throughout the United States, etc. Once you go into the etc., the American part stays on the shores within the boundaries of the USA. And if you don't, and most old Moors never taught us this. And so what I'm saying will make people argue with me. But this is about advancing the prophet teaches according to what the prophet said. Let me give you another example. When prophet says that the Turks and the people that he named in that plea that he puts out must proclaim their descent name before the government, it's only right that you do so. And he named Turks in one of the things that he named, in one of the names that he named. He named Turks. You know what I'm saying? He names that, and when he names that, Somebody said, C.J. Smith said, does it matter? What part does it matter? I need a clear question. Does it matter? Does what matter? I said a whole lot, sis. I said a whole lot. Ask me specifically, does what matter? And I definitely answered. So when he names specifically the Turks, that gives indication that you don't take away your descent name and adopt the name and just throw your descent name away, because when you throw your descent name away, you're actually throwing your history away. So Moors have traversed the planet, right? So we have Moors in the Philippines. We have Moors in the Canary Islands. We have Moors on every part of the globe. But all Moors have different nationalities and belong to different nations, hence the term the uniting of the Asiatic nations, right? So if you're in America and you have a descent name from an Asiatic nation, then you hold on to that, but you still are a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, if that make any sense. I mean, if that make any sense. You feel what I'm saying? And so when we convolute the water, it limits us from coming together. And what I mean that it limits us, we're doing no different if Moors in Canada use the term America. They can't use America. The reason why, because they're denying their descent name. They're denying their experience. They're denying their Canadian experience. Just like we name Moorish our past experience and our current experience. Listen, Act 6 says, with us all members must proclaim their nationality. We're teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and partial of this said government, know that they are not Negro, colored folk, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 to 1865 during the time of slavery. This is not Canadian history. This is American history. You understand? So why would someone that has a Canadian history want to adopt an American history and live a lie? You have to teach the people in Canadian, the Asiatics in Canada. You have to teach them the history that they experienced in Canada. You know what I'm saying? You can't teach them American history for Asiatics in Canada, for Moors in Canada. And the prophet, it doesn't work like that. The thing is that the old Moors, for whatever reason, never broke this down to us. And so we feel that whoever joins the Moorish Science Temple of America is Moorish American. Can you imagine someone in the Congo calling themselves a Moorish American? Because a Moorish American went to the Congo, set up a Moorish Science Temple of America, and went to the Congo, and the Congolese start calling themselves Moorish American. Come on, you know that wouldn't make any kind of sense. The older Moors did not teach us this. I can admit it. They did not teach us this. They're not teaching this in any temple that I've ever come to. I believe, have confidence and faith that I am amongst the first one to teach this like this. And I'm prepared for the arguments to come with it. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, I am probably among the first. I ain't gonna say the first. I don't know. But I know that when it dropped on me, when I studied the prophet, I was like, whoo. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, man, we done got it wrong. Everybody who joins the Moorish Science Temple of America, they can be a member, but that don't necessarily make them Moorish American. And that's something that we have to fix as we move forward. This is the resetting of the Moorish Science Temple of America. What I mean, the resetting, we're looking back at what the prophet gave us. We're not listening to hearsay no more. We're not listening to these fake grand sheiks no more. We're not listening to these fake leaders no more. We're only measuring what we're doing according to what the prophet did and what the prophet wrote. Could it be that they were American slaves, then migrated to Canada? Absolutely. If they, listen, there's stories where slaves migrated to Canada without a doubt or contradiction. But you got to remember, with the universal principle of naturalization and them becoming citizens of Canada, they would still apply to teach the Canadian perspective of history and connect it to the American experience pre-migration. But that still doesn't make them Moorish American, because legal and lawfully, by land and by nationality, they're Canadian, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So they can still teach the history that, my grandfather, they was down the south in Alabama, and they was down there and they had to escape and they came up this way, da-da-da-da. They can still teach the history, but according to land law, birthright, they're Canadian. They're Canadian. Their experience will be Canadian. It is what it is. You know what I mean, it is what it is. And that the thing is that people think that that's divisive. But no, we have Moors all over the planet. So you don't neglect your history just to adopt somebody else's history that is not your experience. You know what I mean? You don't do that. You don't do that. No one should ever do that. See, the Moorish American, right, is different and unique because we lack what other nationalities have the privilege to have. You feel me? We lack what other nationalities have a privilege to have. Family, we lack a home of our own. Even when we call ourselves Moorish American, we're covering a landmass of culture to reestablish ourselves as a nation. When I mean a landmass of culture, from the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. The Moors are descended from the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. We are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. We're talking about the people of the land, not the state or the country Morocco. We're talking about the indigenous people of the northwest, southwestern shores of Africa, right? And so we don't have a national boundary or territory to call our own until we build it. Other nationalities, they actually have that. They actually have that. You see? So if you take Cujo, for example, for Canada, if he uses the term Moorish Canadian and he migrated to Canada from Ghana, he literally have, because his name speaks to that he's probably from Ghana, he literally have a landmass home to call his own. See, the Moorish American in America, we don't have that privilege. The Mexicans of South America, they literally have a government which to call their own. Puerto Rico, they literally have, although they are a territory, they still are a separate nationality per se. They still in American territory, but they just have a governor there. But nevertheless, they still are a separate group. But they have a history there that they should not neglect. The objective is to know thyself, right? So those that came off the plantation in America is in a unique space because we, unfortunately, have taken the brunt of slavery, if you will, and now we have to rebuild from the dirt up. And we are unique in that sense. Not only do we have to rebuild from the dirt up as it relates to the brick and mortar, but we have to rebuild from the dirt up as it relates to education, educating ourselves what nationality is and why it's such a cohesive and important thing that we need to utilize to bring us together and bring us up out of this condition. So nationality is the call of the day. I mean, He said, a man from Brazil who just joined the temple would declare to be Brazilian American inside the temple. Not really hard to understand. Exactly, Michael Cruz Bay. And that does not ostracize our Brazilian Moorish brother. You know what I mean? So he will be Brazilian American. But he's still a Moor ethnically. He's still a Moor. He's still of the Asiatic nation. But nationality is a legal status. You got to understand that. Nationality is not always, people always talk about, you're more by blood. It's not necessarily even that. You don't have to be that either. Because nationality is a legal status. You know what I mean? That's right. He's still Asiatic and Moorish. He's just not a Moorish American. The Moorish connected to the American is designated for those who came out 1779 and 1865 during the time of slavery. You feel me? Man, what happened? Trying to approve my brother right now. Hold up. Let me get him in here. I'm going to try to add him again. Dukes Bay, why can't I add you? I'm trying to add Dukes Bay. They won't let me add him. They didn't cut you off, Dukes Bay. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Y'all understand what I'm saying? So let me get that out the way. So in April the 27th, right? Let me move on. I'm trying to get Dukes Bay in here. In April the 27th, on April the 27th, I'm going to be in Detroit. And if you are able to come if you're able to be in Detroit, if you're in a city nearby, you should come there. You should actually come and hear me out. I know people get caught up in the Tahaka Bay. I'm the more you're going to remember that. I know people get caught up in that. That's all good. Listen, if I need to do something to get your attention, I'm going to put on a magic show for you until I can get your ear. You know what I'm saying? If that's what I got to do. See, the prophet ain't had no problem with putting on a performance to get your attention, to get your ear. He ain't have a problem with that. And I don't have a problem with it either. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be a coon and a buffoon, but I don't mind putting on a performance, getting your attention so I can give you this information that can save us all. I don't mind. You know what I mean? The prophet had the 1927 performance where he let somebody tie him up. So you worrying about me rapping and hooping and hollering? Man, ain't nobody tripping off that. I need your attention so I can teach you this lesson. You know what I mean? So we can come together and get it right. You know what I mean? Now, with that being said, on April the 27th, I'm going to be demonstrating not only, because I don't want to get nobody feelings hurt right now. Not only how they threw this system out that the prophet gave us. Not only, hold up, I hear echo. Who's that? Not only he coming in, hold on. They threw this system out that the prophet gave us. Not only, hold up, I hear echo. Not only he coming in, hold up. Is that him? Is he here yet? I don't know what's going on. They trying to bring the brother in. Let me let him out and let him try again because it don't want to join. Don't want to let him join. They be blocking me, boy. They be blocking me. They trying to let the brother in, but he won't let him join. Oh, he probably got a bad signal. That's probably why. Okay, so anyway, listen. So I'll be in Detroit April the 27th, 2025, right? And I'm going to be breaking down how the Moorish Science Temple of America administratively and structurally was pushed to the side. I mentioned one part earlier when they got rid of all of the literature that said Moorish Holy Temple of Science. And many people don't even know what the Moorish Holy Temple of Science is. Many people don't know, and I'm going to explain that at this event. The Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the world is just what it says. It's a vehicle that the world can enter in the great assembly known as the Divine and National Movement. You know what I'm saying? It's the vehicle. So people outside of the United States, they will hold a charter that would say Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the world. You follow me? And that literature would reflect the same. It wouldn't reflect Moorish America. It just wouldn't reflect that. However, a lot of things was put in place to try to erase many elements of the Moorish Science Temple of America that will help us walk towards liberation, independence, and an upstanding people, right? And so what I'm going to be doing is, I'm going to be breaking it down. I'm going to be breaking it all the way down. So I started off earlier talking about the Grand Sheik and Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law with the assistance of the prophet. The prophet is the prophet's law. And the Supreme Grand Council are charged with administering what is and what is not lawful according to the prophet. That's what the prophet says. They are to judge, and I'm paraphrasing, to what is and what is not lawful according to the prophet. So they are to examine the prophet's law. So the Grand Sheik and Chairman is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the prophet. That's the Supreme Grand Council. Because they're only looking at the prophet's law. They're not, when it says the prophet, if the prophet was here in the physical flesh, then we say we go to the prophet. The prophet is not here in the physical flesh. We ain't gonna let you tell us that the prophet spoke to you in a dream. No, you go to what the prophet said, what it takes to take a Moorish leader, a good Moorish leader, the Holy Quran, divine constitution, bylaw, and the questionnaire, by assistance of the prophet and the grand body. Now, the grand body is not that everybody speak at once. The grand body is those who represent or the head of the temple. You understand? Islam, wouldn't it be Moorish Science Temple of XYZ? No, it wouldn't be Moorish Science Temple. No, the prophet already covered that with the Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the world. No, there's no need to change anything. The prophet already covered the Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the world. That's why when you look at the nationality card of the Moorish or the membership card of the Moorish Science Temple, Moorish Holy Temple Science of the world, it doesn't say I'm a citizen of the USA. It doesn't say that on there. It doesn't say, it reads slightly different from the nationality card of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It doesn't say I'm a citizen of the USA. The prophet already covered it. He said his footprints are clearly cut. You ain't got to add or take away. We use what the prophet gave us, we executed, and then we build upward and outward. You ain't got to adjust what the prophet wrote. You got to adjust none of that. That's what they did. That's what they did. This just haven't been taught. This just haven't been taught. The prophet never shut down the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. I mean, he never shut that down. They ain't got to say the Moorish Science Temple of Ghana. No. Because that puts you in a compromising position to change up stuff. Nuh-uh, that ain't how it works. You use what the prophet used and you can't lose. You can't lose. But nobody taught the science of the Moorish Holy Temple science of the world. Nobody taught that. So that's why that's why it would create arguments right now, because nobody knows about it. Nobody. But when you listen to it and you see what the prophet left us, there is no argument. The argument is over. Nobody never examined that, because most people, even if they're not in the ink, they follow the ink narrative. Even if they're not under the leadership of Kirkman Bey, F. Nelson Bey, J. Bakley Bey, R. Lovell or R. Jones Bey, they follow their narrative. They had a meeting and says, take all the Holy Temple of Science stuff out. They had a meeting say, remove all the literature that says Holy Temple of Science. They had a meeting and reprinted all the Qurans to say Moorish Science Temple of America. They did that. Most people are following their narrative. That's why many people are walking around with scimitar charms on. That's why many people are walking around with blue buttons on that's reflected of Shriners and Masonry. This is why many people go into a temple and they see a mallet hit the table, bing, 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 just like they open a Masonic temple meeting. When in fact, well, as we do, Islam, Islam, Islam. That's right. I mean, like many people, people don't even know what they're doing. They don't even know what they're doing. So many people are following the narrative because they don't know an alternative. I'm here to teach the alternative that's consistent with the prophet gave us. I'm not teaching nothing new. I'm teaching that which people have refused to use for their benefit. The prophet said his footprints are clearly cut. Why are we walking in another direction? Why? And why is anybody mad at me? Because I say I want to look at and examine and execute our prophet's movement from 1925, the founding of the first Moorish Science Temple of America, from a physical perspective. October the 15th, 1925, into the closing of the first annual convention. October the 15th, 1928. And I'm going to practice that part. I'm going to walk in those footsteps. Because anything after that, it seems to be suspect. And it has gotten us nowhere. And then, if I can fulfill that with some upright and independent Moors, then we can build upward and outward. But these other old Moors that's running these old groups, for one, it's not really their fault. They only repeated information that they had passed down. They didn't go back and look into the information to verify it, measuring it against what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said. I choose to measure it with the Prophet. I choose to measure it with the Prophet. Everything I do, I choose to measure it next to what the Prophet said and taught. And what the literature says, the main literature, Islam, Aleem, I'm talking. 1 second. The main literature, the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaw, and the questionnaire. That is the foundation of operating in the capacity of a Moorish leader. I see we got Dukes Bay in the building. You come in with your fez on. This look like you come, bro. Are you looking to the left? Is that a Masonic gesture or something?
Oh, actually, let me, we start off on the good foot. That's the left. Left, right, left,
Hey, you know
left,
what? I
right.
just told my son that my son is left-handed. He's even saying he's 6, right? And very intelligent. And he said, I'm right-handed. I said, boy, you left-handed. He was like, I'm right-handed, Dad. I said, boy, you left-handed. Because everybody, many of his friends is right-handed. I said, boy,
Right.
let me tell you something. Where your heart at? On the left side. 6 years
That's the
old.
right.
That's
That's
right.
the right hand.
I say, how they move out? Left, right, left. That's
That's
how you
that's
move out.
that's
That's how
that's
our
the right
ancestors
side.
moved
That's
out.
that's the right side. First of all, let
Where
me
you
give praise
breaking
to
up? I
Allah,
got
honest
different
the Prophet
information.
Noble Drew Ali. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well. Go ahead, brother.
All is well. Praise Allah, honest to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and honest to you from Moore's point of view and everybody in the sound of our voice. Actually, I was getting my lessons. You know what I mean? You really didn't have to bring me on because I'm glad you covered the part in dealing with, membership, grand body, Supreme Grand Council. So now brothers and sisters need to start questioning because when you start hearing those titles, Supreme Grand Advisor, Supreme Grand Sheik, Supreme Grand this. So that shows you that at a particular time, Moors knew that the Supreme Grand Council was in existence.
Right.
But somebody, somewhere down the line, the Supreme Grand Council, see, people don't
Please leave that
believe,
alone.
people
I'm
don't
sorry.
believe that the Moorish Science Temple of America was infiltrated. I don't understand why they don't believe that the Moorish Science Temple of America had plants. They was look like us. They was Asiatic with dark olive hue. They wore fezzes. You know what I mean? They had adapt charm. They was members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. They worked for the government to take away what was something that was set in stone by Allah to save us as a nation of people. You know what I mean? And you have brothers and sisters that look just like us that came along to sabotage what the Holy and Divine Prophet Noble Drew Ali laid down. But it's reported that he said that I'm going to have to repeat myself. So this is what we're going through right now, a repeat where you call it a reset button. This is the repeat, reintroducing the people to what the program that Prophet Noble Drew Ali laid down. This ain't about no Mealy Ill. This ain't about Kurtman Bay. This ain't about German Bay. This ain't about Dingle Ill. This ain't about Rasadi Ill. This ain't about none of these brothers. This is about Prophet Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Science Temple of America as set forth by our angel who was sent to us to bring us the everlasting gospel of Allah. This is what this is about. This ain't personal. This is divine
Yeah.
business. You know
And
what I mean?
let me add this also, that one of the things that we have to come to grips with, that although the face of the infiltration looked like us, it was definitely a governmental operation to make sure we do not organize and execute a full-blown march towards nationhood as a people. Because the Asiatics here that are called Negro, black, and colored, or black people, African Americans of this day and time, is the burden bearer. There is no, you wouldn't understand dark if you don't have light. You wouldn't understand the moon if you didn't have the sun. You wouldn't understand truth if you didn't have falsehood. So the prophets say, study the high and the lower self, right? You wouldn't understand. So you need to understand both, you know what I mean? And with that being said, that you wouldn't have the rich without the poor. You wouldn't have the rich without the burden bearers. So in these Western societies, not only in America, but everywhere that Western society psychology has dominated, they need a burden bearer. Now, when the burden bearer wakes up and say, I no longer want to be the burden bearer, and they begin to walk towards independent and saying that I am just as valuable as you think you are, even more. The burden bearer begins to say that I'm not the burden bearer and say, you know what? I can make my own jets. I can make my own jet propulsion systems. I can make my own computers. I can make my own anything that we need. I can dig my own sewers. I can treat my own water. I can, when the burden bearer begin to wake up in that capacity, the burden bearer no longer be the burden bearer. Now the consumer becomes the producer. And now we're competing. So what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali gave us was a system to march towards exactly what I just said. So while Elon Musk is sending jets or spaceships trying to get into outer space and making electric cars, we're sitting up here arguing about who is the supreme grand sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Family, there is none until we hold one up. There is none. So I don't call myself a supreme grand sheik. I ain't done nothing supreme yet. You know what I mean? I ain't done nothing supreme yet. But I am the Grand Sheik and chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and I'm going to operate it in the reflection of what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali gave us. So while they're going into space and they got drones that can peek in your house, can fly in your house. They got drones, they got all of this technology. And we sitting up here, you think I'm sitting up here debating with a Moor on the internet about putting Europeans on notice? Any debate that I have on the internet is to use these people that think they know as a sounding board to for those who want to know. And on April the 27th, I really want those in Detroit. You don't have to like me. Come in here. Come in here. Come in here how this Moorish Science Temple of America supposed to be operating, how the prophet set it up. And I'm not coming with philosophy with no evidence. Everything that I say will be sourced by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Prophet Noble Drew Ali sources himself. I will only be sourcing it with Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I'll be
You
showing some stuff that people probably never even seen before.
Islam more. Like when we had the last event here in Detroit, the thing that a lot of brothers and sisters appreciated the most, and they told me personally themselves, they was from other different administrations, and they actually told me themselves this over and over again from person to person, that they appreciated that the receipts, the black and whites, the slides, the visual. You actually showed them things that they was able to see and read themselves and go back and research. And then when you came back and you did you redone the whole program on Spotify, whatever that was, they was able to even receive more information that they didn't receive the first time, because it was like revisiting it. And they didn't realize that you put a lot of things that was out there that gave them answers to questions that they really didn't understand. And so to a lot of my brothers and sisters who call themselves a part of the sovereign movement or whatever you call it, you need to be at this particular event, April the 27th, because I understand the want and the need to be a nation of people. But we have been going about it the wrong way. Prophet Noble Drew Ali gave us the blueprint. His footprints is clearly cut for us to springboard from being a religious organization to a full-fledged nation of people. And if we follow the blueprint, then we will be successful. But that was the purpose of being infiltrated, for them sending infiltrators so that we can get away from the blueprint and become church. And that's what has been happening.
And that's what's going to continue to happen until many of us that's in our age group get fed up and say no more, and then they teach people under our age group to take it to the next level. That's what's going to have to happen, because many people have gotten complacent. Many people have gotten comfortable, but we got complacent and comfortable with nothing. I could see, just like I gave the example when I opened up this stream, that if we were benefiting from walking down that road in which we have been walking down, and we at a minute our money funny, and at a minute we can say, okay, I need to make a call to headquarters so I can tap the treasury. My bills is due. I'm done. I lost my job. Everything is out of whack. Let me talk to my grand sheik, see if I can tap the treasury and maybe pay it back. No interest, pay it back in 6 months. See, if you're not able to do that, then we didn't drop the ball. You didn't drop the ball. And if you're not willing to build that, once again, you're never going to have the ball. If you're not able to build an interface with other nations of people, and they are understanding the plight of us, and they're willing to say, you know what? We have a little surplus. Let's just drop that on the Moors. They look like they're doing the right thing. And now, when a member, an official of whomever have a problem, they got something that they can fall back on. What are we falling back on now? EBT cards? What are we falling back on? To call ourselves Moors, a holy and divine movement. We falling back on, and I'm not knocking the EBT card. You are an American citizen, so that's your right too. But that shouldn't be your right, and that shouldn't be your option, and that shouldn't be. I don't want to say it the wrong way, because you are an American citizen and you did put money in the pot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I need my food.
Yeah.
I need my food, man.
But what I'm saying is that shouldn't be the end-all, be-all plan when you're a Moorish American.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That shouldn't be. You should be able to subscribe, just like you subscribe to the Moorish Uplifting Fund. You should be able to prescribe yourself some finances from that fund.
That's
if
right.
If you subscribe to it, you should be able to prescribe some of that money for yourself. You understand what I'm saying? And if we're not working toward that, what are we doing? And if you're not ready to build that, what are we doing? I mean, come on. Now, we can have temple in our house with our family and still get the blessings of Allah by his divine prophet. That's individual. But we supposed to be working towards nationhood.
Yep.
We're supposed to be working towards nationhood. Where is the nationhood?
In 100 years, after 100 years, we are embarking upon 100 years. And you trying to tell me we still don't have a central bank? We not doing business commerce. We're not doing business amongst each other. We can't go up to the bank and withdraw something. We can't put something in it that belongs to the Moorish Americans, for the Moorish American, by the Moorish American, doing business with anybody that want to do business with us like any other bank after 100 years. We still haven't achieved that yet.
Hey, bro, listen, this is why the Prophet Noble Drew Ali put in the organization pre-developed into full-blown nation. Because if we can operate in an organization on the back end, nation will be easy.
That's easy.
We don't like, for one thing, we don't like rank and file. We don't like rank and file. Man, I'm a grown man telling me what to do. I'm a grown woman with kids and baby goats, and you telling me what to do. We don't like rank and file. We don't like rank and file. You know what I mean? But our prophet teaches us, man like to follow, not to lead. So if we do like to follow, not to lead, if you ain't following divine, then you're going to follow something to make you lose your mind. So you might as well follow divine, and then you're going to be able to lead. And when I say divine, I'm talking about if one is teaching strictly to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and sourcing the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, why not try to line up with that? Anything that any Grand Sheik say in any administration, you can source the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. You can source the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Anything that they say. There's no way that a grown man or a grown woman should be able to lie to you and you just accept it. No way. Because you should be able to source it. I'll give you an example. It's a brother that was trolling today. He said that Prophet Noble Drew Ali say parcel, part and parcel. Now we did that argument many times, right? We did that argument many times, right?
Ooh.
Now, if I tell the brother, I say, brother, listen, I can show you an original copy, a copy of an original document where the prophet uses partial. I can also show you a writing where the prophet uses parcel, but it's not in the laws. Then what you do, family, let me give you a hint on how I study. When I find something that really doesn't make sense when I find it, I put it into the back of my mind. I meditate on it, I pray on it, and I look for answers to make it make sense. I'm not going to make it seem like I know it all and that the prophet made an error and it's a clerical error. No, because I got enough sources to say that it's right and exact. I got enough sources to say, man, this is what he meant. So now my job is not to change what he said, but to try to figure out the equation, why he said it. I mean, my mission is to figure out why he said partial and not parcel. Although parcel may sound right, parcel may sound good, parcel may sound right and exact, but why did he use partial? That's what I'm trying to solve. I'm not trying to change it. You feel me? And that's the problem with the Moorish Science Temple of America people who claim they follow the prophet. Instead of trying to figure out the equation, they're trying to make it what they want it to be to their common sense. But this is the holy and divine prophet. Your common sense may not measure up on first read, second read, or even 1,000 read. But no, for sure, if I can sit up there and I can prove to you that this is the original script, it's up to you to try to figure that out. Or a grand sheik or someone qualified. And many people make these arguments, have never stepped foot in the Moorish Science Temple of America. Never. Not even a shady Moorish Science Temple of America. They never even stepped foot, and they making these arguments. You know what I'm saying? Like you making these arguments where you have never participated. You never participated. So at the end of the day, April the 27th, I think I should, how you think I need to start this off? Should I start off with the usurp of how the government was connected into the overthrow? You know what I mean? Because many people, you know the problem too that we find? The problem that we find too, no one ever connects the government to the overthrow. We talks about Kirkman Bay. Get your phone together, brother. That thing buzzing like a bee.
They won't let me. It won't let me
Listen,
even. I'm
listen.
trying to get to it, but it won't.
So look, you're disturbing my meeting. So at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, right? We have to know that when people start pointing the fingers, myself included, at the Claude Green Moors, what was the motivation behind the Claude Green Moors? Because there has to be, like, why would an Asiatic join the Moorish Science Temple of America just to overthrow it? Now, money is always one of the reasons, but when you're talking about money, right? When you're talking about money, that's only part of the reason. But the other reason, when you're dealing with a movement like the Moorish Science Temple of America, is power. Power. Remember, Prophet Noble Drew Ali had the power of the vote. Prophet Noble Drew Ali had the power of the people. You remove the movement that can control the political, local power, and you reduce the people back to servitude. Remember, the prophet called 3,000 people to vote one way. Not only that, the prophet said, Moors, do you want your own town? So the prophet is working double duty. On one end, he's locally, politically putting the mash on. And on the other end, he's getting his hands dirty. He's getting dirt in his nails in preparation to build a Moorish village. You feel what I'm saying? So he's working in dualities. He's got the Moors to be self-sufficient and independent and build your own, create your own industries. He said cultivate acres of land, and then he's over here saying in this local political arena we're about to dominate it. So he's working in dualities. You see what I'm saying? The problem, the problem with us, the problem with us, excuse me, Aline, the problem with us is that we think that the prophet is one thing. The prophet is not one thing. You got Emily Hill that's writing insurance for the whole Moorish Science Temple of America. All the members are getting insurance through Emily Hill. Where is our insurance underwriter? Where is our insurance agent? And this is another problem that we have. We have to recognize this too, big bro. Many of the Asiatics here in America and abroad suffer from mental illness.
Facts.
They suffer from mental illness. And they come into the Moorish Science Temple of America of any faction, and they bring that mental illness with them. And
Yep.
then they start with their illogical thinking and think that they're going to talk or over talk someone who actually is looking at the blueprint and trying to stick to the blueprint. And now they want to come with their little twisted version and then saying, no. In the Noble Temple, we're not going, we rank and file. Drew Ali first. Say whatever you want. Let's see what Drew Ali say. Move however you want. Let's see how Drew Ali move. And
And you
that's
know
how we
what?
got to move.
You know what more? And I dare to say this here, and I definitely agree with you with the mental illness, and I want to identify a couple of them. One of them is called Stockholm syndrome. They they still in love with their captors. You know what I mean? And unfortunate, the captors look just like them. And then it's another one called narcissism. And it's collective narcissism. Anytime you have brothers and sisters that think if it ain't their way, then it ain't the Moorish Science Temple of America, and then you have brothers and sisters that support that will willfully close their ears to the truth. That's Stockholm syndrome right there. It's a brother. I know that it's not that easy to accept this truth. But you have a lot of brothers and sisters that want to figure out, want to say, ain't no saving power in 1929 and going back to 1929. Then you might as well say there ain't no saving power in reverting back to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, because that's when it was established.
And let me say, there is no saving power in calling yourself Moors, because they're descended from the northwest and southwestern shores of Africa, descended from the ancient land of Canaan. So why are you going all the way back there? Just
Yeah,
forget about it all.
yeah. Ain't no way we
That's what
gonna
they
be
did
able to
wrong.
get it right. There's no way we gonna be able to get it right if we don't go back and revisit what happened in 1927, 28, 29, 30, 34, 35. We
Why would
have to
the Prophet
revisit.
Noble Drew Ali, why would the Prophet Noble Drew Ali say my footprints are clearly cut?
Yeah.
Because he knows that there's going to be people, entities coming behind him trying to cover his footprints. So
He
you
said
don't know which
it's
way to
only
go.
one. He said it's only one more size temple of America, and it is mine. I mean, why would he make that statement? Like all Moors,
So you can
good Moors
compare
must
it.
protect. Right, protect the temple and the prophet. Why would he say that? Something was going on, and it wasn't just no Europeans. It was because of the Europeans, but the face of it wasn't Europeans. It was brothers and sisters that was wearing turbans and fezzes.
That's right. And when he says that there is one more sign symbol of America is mine. That's indication that there was another one right beside it trying to perpetrate like it was Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
Yeah, he
But we
just wasn't
scared to
talking to
look
be
at it.
talking.
But we're scared to look at it and see it for what it is. You know what I mean? But that's why I think this lecture coming up on April the 27th is going to be so instrumental in showing how not only the government had a hand in dismantling the work that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali had manifested for us, uh, but also what the Prophet manifests is still right there. It's still right there. Like whatever group of people on the planet Earth, brother, whatever nationality on the planet Earth don't have a homeland to call their own, that they can, Aleem, I need you to stop, please. Whatever, what other nationality on the planet Earth don't have a homeland that they can actually say, that's my homeland. The tribal governments are still there, or the modern government is there, and we're accepted. Take the Puerto Rican, for example. The indigenous people of Puerto Rican are still there. The tribal people still there. Take the Mexicans that was mixed with the Spaniards. Deep into Mexico, you still see some dark Mexicans there. They're still there.
That's right.
They
That's
got a
right.
place to go. Take anybody on the planet, and I will guarantee you, I can show you that they have a land where they still got people there that recognize them as them, and they can go to it. They might have a little struggle because they're Americanized, but when you're dealing with those from 1779 to 1865, anywhere you go, you're not really from here. Go to Ghana, you still gonna get some side eyes. You're not really from here. Go to anywhere, Nigeria, or go to one of these Indian reservations, those who think they're indigenous. You're not really here. Dude, we don't have nothing right there like any other people have. Not us. That's the unique thing about us. And that's why we must take take this movement in our hand and establish what the prophet gave us the blueprint to establish. Because we're only going to have what we build. Anywhere else, anything else, we're waiting for someone to embrace us. That's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for somebody to embrace us. If we go and get dual citizenship in Ghana, we're saying that Ghana, please embrace us. Oh, we know that the original inhabitants are Moors. That's a part of the Moroccan Empire. If we go to Benin, we're waiting for the Benin to embrace us, even though we know they're Moors. Mali, we know they're Moors, but we're waiting for them to embrace us. No other group of people is in that condition. Name one. You can get an Italian American. You can get an Italian American that been here for hundreds of years. They go back to Italy. They embraced. They embraced. They might be a little bit Americanized, but they got Italy to go back to. We won't have nothing until we build it.
Gotta
This
build it.
is why the government employed people like Kirkman Bay and the others to pull the rug from underneath us. Because once we build our own, you feel what I'm saying? Once we build our own, then we have our own refuge to run to. Until then, we nothing. Let me see what this brother say. Brother, Sultry Bay said, there's but one law, so there are two laws based on your logic. How do
Oh
you
my
get
God.
Moorish science temples out of what he said? Moorish science what? How do you get two Moorish science temples out of what you said? I don't know what Sultry Bay is talking about. Who's your Grand Sheik, Sultry Bay? Let me see if I can bring
They
him in. Let's see if
they
we can
not
bring him in.
following. They no. I'm
Yeah,
if he bringing
I
him
want
in,
to hear
I'm
what he
gone.
got.
Well,
I want
I'm
to hear
out.
what he got to
Get
say.
get
All right,
me up out of here.
I asked you to stop,
I don't
brother.
want no parts of that because
Yeah, I want to hear what he has to
it's a
say. Who
carpet.
said it was?
He has a comprehension problem. Obviously.
Yeah, who said it was two Moorish science temples? Whoever said that? I don't know what he talking about. You know Sultry Bay?
I don't know what's going on, but I know I don't want no parts of that conversation because that's
No,
deflection.
says, he says, the prophet says there is but one Allah, so there are two Allahs based on. The prophet also said that Allah is one, but Allah is many. What Quran are you reading, brother? But that ain't the logic that we're using for the temple now. That ain't the logic. But you, bro. All right, then
All right, let
let
me
me get this
go
brother.
ahead
Sultry
because
Bay. Where he at?
this
Where he at?
brother
I want to hear this, brother. All right.
okay.
I want to hear this, brother. Let me see what he got to say. Because I didn't say what he just said I said. Where he at? Let's see what he got to say. We waiting on him to come in. Where is he at? Is he going to come in? Is he going to come in? Or is he just talking? See, these are the type of people I'm going to start blocking too. These are the type of people I'm going to start blocking because they just come and distract. They just be coming to distract. They don't be coming to bring nothing to the table. Okay, he coming in. Let's see if we can get this straight. I want to hear what he has to say. He's trying to get in here, family. There you go, brother. Peace, brother. Peace, brother. I want to hear what you got to say. I always see you on a thread. I always see you saying something in a thread, but I think it's always better to have a conversation because things can get lost in a text on social media. So,
Well, more,
how you doing,
this
David?
one, Islam. Can
Peace,
you
brother.
hear
Yeah.
me?
What did you say? I say that there was two more
It's
sons.
never, that's what I'm saying. You and the other brother, whoever he is, he can comprehend, right?
Brother,
I
don't be
love
don't
texting.
don't be
I don't really love.
condescending. I just want to hear what you said, brother.
Listen. No. You tend to attack a lot, brother. That's why I didn't want to get on here. Listen what I'm saying, because you brought me in. What I'm saying, based on your logic, the prophet said there's but one Allah. I mean, one more scientific America. Now, I know we can twist that and make it seem like there's two more scientific America based on that statement. So I counted. I said, based on your logic, when the prophet says in the Quran, there's but one Allah. So a person reading that would infer from that there must be two Allahs then. I'm not saying there are two Allahs, but listen what you're saying.
All right. Let me.
Are you
I
understand what I'm
understand what you're
saying?
saying, but allow me to speak to that. Allow me to speak to that. So when the prophet
Yeah, go ahead.
made that statement, there was another Moorish Science Temple of America emerging next to the prophet Noble Drew Ali. So what the prophet is saying, if you're listening in real time, and I already proved that there is, in fact, this is not hidden information. This is not something that I hid into a vault. That Claude Green announced himself as the prophet as well as the Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America. So what the prophet is saying in real time, he's saying as people are confused as to who to join or who to stay with, the prophet clarifies and says there's only one Moorish Science Temple of America and it is mine. That's the full statement. It's not saying it's one more Science Temple of America because there's another one. No, just so it won't be no confusion. Although it's one over here that's calling themselves that, there's only one Moorish sign symbol of America, and it is mine. We're speaking in real time when the statement was made, not in 2025.
Okay, how did you get two? How was two temples established when the prophet is the founder of the one
Because
temple?
Claude Green established himself and attempted to remove the prophet, but he established himself as the Moorish Science Temple, the Moorish National Science Temple of America, alongside of the prophet movement. And he put the prophet out of the temple, and he had meetings with his group, calling himself the Moorish National Temple of Science of America.
But you're confusing me.
Because
That
you
don't
don't know
make
the
sense because you
history.
saying,
You don't know the
no,
history.
you know what you keep saying? I don't know.
Well,
And
listen,
I've been in this temple. Listen, I'm saying, bro. Let me correct something. Because I've been around longer than you. I've heard that stuff. I've been to people. In fact, I only know a few people in my lifetime that really could go all the way back to Brother C. Kirkland Bay, right? And other Moors. I talked to them. You hear a lot of things that I'm
can I
not even gonna
ask you
put
a
in the air,
question?
right? Yeah,
Did Kirkman
you can.
did Claude Green ever declare himself Grand Sheik? Okay,
Brother, we know that
okay, stop right
we
there.
know
Stop there.
that
Stop there.
history right there. That I
Grand Sheik
don't
of what?
disagree with. Yeah. If he declared himself, that don't a
No,
lot of
I'm
people declare
asking you,
themselves
brother.
sheiks
Please,
now.
brother. If let's see if we can look into
You
the mind of the
it's a rhetorical question.
logical.
You already answered the question. We
Listen,
already established
logical.
that he did during the
Listen to
time
me.
of the prophet. We already
Listen to
established
me.
that.
Listen to me. So if Claude Green established himself and says he's the Grand Sheik, right?
Yeah.
He's not the Grand Sheik of the
Of
Prophets
what though?
movement.
Of what grand sheik is he declaring he is
He
the grand sheik of then?
creates his
Because he got
own
his own
version,
temple.
brother.
Well, if he got his own version, then he's absolutely correct
Listen
then.
to what I'm saying, though. So the prophet comes back and says, there's only one Moorish sign symbol of America, and it is mine. How is that hard to understand? We don't want the people
Okay,
to be
it's hard for me.
confused.
No, I'm not.
No,
Look, what I'm saying
I said the
you
prophet.
can cover
I
this.
said
What
the
I'm saying.
prophet will only
Okay,
make that statement so the public won't be confused. So when you see Claude Green over here calling himself the Moorish Science Temple of America, and he is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America, he establishes that there is only one Moorish Science Temple of America, and it is mine. Isn't that logically
so
to
you
see?
say Claude Green. Look, what I'm saying. You said Claude Green founded a Moorish sign or Moorish temple science, whatever
No,
you're saying. That's what you're
brother,
saying.
you
You're
misunderstanding, brother.
not making
Brother,
sense.
brother, you're not. Listen to me.
You
Claude
think
Green,
I'm not listening? Listen,
listen
what I'm
to me.
saying.
Claude Green, Lomax Bay, Temple number 9, and a few other temples broke off from the prophet. Do you understand that?
That, that's what I'm saying. Of
Okay,
course, I
stop for
understand
a
that.
minute. They break off from the prophet, all right? Prophet Noble Drew Ali comes back from tour of the temples, and Claude Green declares himself with those people Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Do you got that part? No.
Okay, now, let me
Hold
get
up. I
in.
want you to talk soon.
That's why I don't want to come in because I told the brother they be telling me
No,
debates.
I'm
I
not
said, no, the
debating,
brother not going to
brother.
give me a chance
Listen,
to
listen,
talk.
brother. I'm
Well,
gonna have
this
you talk.
what
Let me
we having, right?
let's walk.
This a matter
Please
of
let me just
finale.
walk this down. Let me
I
walk this down.
got it, brother. I'm not slow.
So
I
hold
probably
up.
look. I've heard. Look,
So
I've
isn't it
heard, brother.
reasonable?
This what I'm saying. Can I get
No,
it for 1
brother,
minute?
please hear me.
I
Last
heard you. I
word.
went to A to Z on that. You've been
Okay, so
redundant.
listen. So wouldn't it be reasonable for the prophet to put a message into the public to say that there is one Moorish Science Temple of America and it is mine?
You are you listening to what you just told me? This is what I'm saying. Let me replay what you just said. You said when the prophet went out of town, I believe you said, he came back, Claude Green Bay, Lomax Bay, whomever you said, according to these letters, right, I've read over the years, tried to take over the movement. They declared themselves the leader of the Moorish side to America. Of whose Moorish side to America did they declare themselves the leader of?
Brother, they had temple number 9, the biggest temple in Chicago. The
I didn't ask you that.
Prophet's Moorish Science
I
Temple
asked
of
you
America, brother.
who did
They
they,
was
this what I'm saying,
removing the
because I
prophet,
can see
brother.
how,
They
okay,
called themselves removing the prophet, brother. That's what they called themselves doing.
okay. Then guess what? Then it goes back to what I've been telling you in my text message. That's why I restrict to my text message. Then there's but one Allah, one prophet, and one temple. It doesn't matter if 3,000-4,000 factions declare themselves to be the leader of the Moorish scientific America. There's still only one temple, one Allah, one prophet. That's all I'm saying.
I use the
but
statement.
You twisted that. You twisted that.
Listen, brother.
You had twisted that, brother.
I'm looking at the statement to show that there was an emerging Moorish Science Temple in the midst of the prophets, Moorish Science Temple of America. That's not hard to understand or fathom.
Okay. I didn't know what you're saying. Maybe you not listen to yourself. Now you got people that remember something. It's all about. That's why we study history, because one thing history does, it makes us think. Now, when you make good points, I tell brothers and sisters that I say, well, the brother make a good point. We have to agree with the truth. But when you twisting this thing, because it can easily be twisted with. Look what I'm saying. No,
you agreed
what I'm saying.
With
when
me.
Someone says,
you agreed with me all the way up to the point where the prophet make that statement. You saying that that's not a logical statement from Prophet Noble Drew Ali, or you saying it's not logical?
No, what I'm saying
it's not logical
for
me to view it while he's putting emphasis and underscoring that he's the only Moorish Science Temple of America.
Okay, listen what I'm saying. Okay, you say what you're saying. Remember something, brother. We'll learn one thing, that whenever we're reading something or hearing something, everybody does not hear the same thing. Everybody gets different interpretations or misinterpretations. And what you have done with that statement, right or wrong, and I don't get into the validity of it right now, just listen to me. You said, for the reason the prophet said there's but one more side to American, and that is mine, is because based on that, you inferring that there had to be two temples. I am telling you that I do not agree with that, because that's how you twisted it to make it seem. That's why I use analogy when the Quran said that, but there's but one Allah. Don't go when it says Allah's many things, because we get in that, because that doesn't mean that. You know it doesn't.
Okay,
it said there's but one Allah.
Let's do Coming to America.
Listen, let me give you an example. You're not letting me finish.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
See? Okay. Listen what I'm saying, brother. When you said there's but one Allah, a person on the outside that doesn't understand the teaching would say, oh, that implies that there are two Allahs. It don't imply two Allahs, because we can't show it, but there's but one Allah. That's the point I'm making. You can say that, you can read it like that and say, oh, it must be two Allahs, because the prophet said there's but one Allah. The Arabs had 365 gods, but they had that's the main one Allah. So there's Allah's one. They believe in the oneness of Allah, but they use all these other gods as mediums to get to them. So I know you get my point, brother.
Your point. Let me ask you a question though, and then I want to make a statement. Is Allah many?
Mm-hmm.
Did the prophet also say Allah is many?
Yes or no? No.
I'm asking you a question. Did the prophet also say that Allah is many?
No, he did not say that. He was talking about not no many Allah. He's showing the oneness of Allah. Read it in its context. Words have meaning in context. It said, yeah, he is many. Read it in its context. It's not no many Allahs. That's showing the oneness of Allah. Yeah, I got you, brother.
So you're telling me that the prophet didn't say Allah is many?
No, not in the context in which you were trying to say that it's in many Allahs. We know, remember, that's talking about the oneness of Allah, showing where that
so
the
you're
sun,
using
the
it out
moon,
of
the
context,
stars,
then.
everything.
So you're using it out of context. You're using Allah as one out of context.
No, read it. Read it. Read it more. Read it. Read it.
I want to get to my point. I'm gonna read that in a minute. I'm gonna get that to a minute.
Read it now, because you made the statement. That ain't no many Allahs.
Listen to me. What I'm trying to tell you.
Read it. Let's get one thing at a time. You're a sheep. You should know that more. You should have been. You should know that.
Quran. Let me get the chapter, brother. Relax.
Oh, take your time, bro. And you know what, brother? For the record, whoever listening, this is just done in love, brother, because I know I have nothing but love for you.
Hold up. Hold up. Because you got it wrong.
No, I don't have it wrong, brother. Look, I don't play with that Quran.
All right.
I don't put a twist on that. There's only one. Quran said there's but one Allah, not no many Allahs.
I'm about to get it to you in a second.
It
Here we
says
go.
he's all. It just letting you know
Here we go.
in the totality of all things,
Okay.
Allah is all.
Okay, here we go.
That's what it took, really.
Okay. This is what it says, brother. It says,
I know what
it says,
says.
a man ID. Hold up. First it says,
No, that's further down.
hold up. Yeah, I'm about to go all up. It says,
You take a long time to get there.
Yeah, it takes, because I want to make sure I get it right. I got people listening. I'm not trying to teach you. You already know. All right. Allah, all people worship Allah, the one, right?
Right. That's right.
And then there's a semicolon there. You know what that means, right? But I'm gonna go on.
More. Read on more.
All people see him not alike. The
Right.
universal law is wisdom, will, and love. All right?
Right. Those attributes of Allah.
The universal law is wisdom, will, and love.
Mhm.
All right? All men see not the triune law. Triune means three.
No, hope. Don't twist that like the Christian
Triune
concept. No
means
disrespect to my
three.
Christian brothers and
Let me
sisters. Yes, but we
finish,
talking about
brother.
the
See, you don't want me
attributes.
to finish.
The
Can you
attributes
listen?
more.
Can you listen?
Okay, I'm gonna get you.
Let me finish.
Yeah, go
Let
ahead.
me just finish my statement.
Go ahead. Okay.
All right.
Because you missed
Let
the
me
right
finish,
point, though.
brother.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead. My bad.
All people see not the triune law.
Mm-hmm.
Then it says one see him as a law of might, another a law of thought, another a law of love.
Right.
A man ideal is his God, and so as man unfold, man's God unfold.
Right.
Man's God today, tomorrow is not.
Talk a bay.